where we work in Sudan is a place where journalism is banned, humanitarian aid is banned, and there's been an ongoing war for about 30 years. In the last 5 years, it's been particularly bad, and we've been trying to tell the story in a lot of different ways, and it's quite difficult because it's something that I think a lot of people have trouble connecting to. It's very different for them. Conflict is not something that we're used to living, most of us. So we wanted to find a way to empathize with people who are living through difficult situation, but also to show that kind of resilience that that people have in this context. So VR was a good way to do that because it allows people to travel to other places and meet people in ways that feel a lot like real life, and that makes it a lot easier to care about the story, to care about the numbers, to care about the statistics, to care about how many people were displaced or how many bombs were dropped. And I think before you do journalism, you need to create reasons to care, and VR is a great tool for that.
The cost of VR, is it feasible for any media organization to do it, or is it still quite an expensive endeavor?
When we did it, it was a bit expensive. It was also, everything was pretty hacked together. I mean, the camera that we used was a 3D printed plastic frame that we clipped GoPros into. It was always breaking. That was a year and a half ago. Now, there are cameras the size of iPhones that have quite high production value, that shoot very good footage, and you can buy a VR camera that stitches everything inside of the camera, delivers a file that you can edit in Premiere for quite cheaply. So it's what we're going to see right now for the first time, literally like in the last 6 months, is a bunch of cameras that allow anybody to do VR. And that's really exciting because for the last 5 years, you've had only people who can afford incredibly expensive, complicated camera sets are able to use VR and to do storytelling, which has been great. But I think what's far more interesting is going to be what people do with VR that are not in the business per se, who are not media, who are people that are just playing around and exploring, because the medium's 5 or 10 years old. It's not something we know. We don't know what the rules are. We don't know how to do this. So what's really exciting is kind of what is going to happen now that it's more accessible to both watch and to make.
Are you seeing it as a widely accepted thing now across the continent, or is it people still hesitant about utilizing it?
Yeah, we're doing a virtual reality hackathon in Kenya next month with local story makers there, and we're really excited to kind of get feedback and see how easy or hard it is to kind of pass these skills on. I have a theory that it's actually going to be pretty easy to get people up and running, and I also think that it's very well suited. And I think it's. Let me step back. That's a really good question. I mean, I think right now it's not very widespread across Africa. The issue is that you have to buy these special little devices that you have to clip your phone into. It's not widely available. Technology is kind of formidable.